So I'm assuming everybody heard the recording in progress. But welcome everybody. We are taking just an opportunity during our hybrid conference to give you just a little bit of more of an in-depth view of two of our exhibitors and exhibitor sponsors who've been involved in our conference this year. They've been very diligently sitting in the hallway for a couple of days and chatting with attendees. And so they have an opportunity to kind of take a deeper dive. And you all have your video and audio capabilities, so you can unmute yourself and ask a question if you'd like, but we're going to just kind of let them have the floor for about 15 minutes each. And then we'll have this recorded, so we'll be able to post this back up for other attendees to see the information, and hopefully you'll be able to gather some excellent resources from these two exhibitors, because I know they've got some great materials to share. So I'm going to first pass it off to Shatterproof. Yeah. There you go. I'm getting it right, and I'll go ahead and let them chat. And I am monitoring the Whova chat for this session, not the Zoom chat. So just as a little reminder, the Whova chat, not the Zoom chat.
Oh, I can remember the Zoom chat if you want. Okay, lovely. Well, thank you so much for that introduction, Terry. And as Terry said, so my name is Carolyn Davidson. I'm the Vice President of State Engagement for Shatterproof. So in that role, I oversee our work on the ground, both physically and virtually in our states implementing the Atlas platform. And so talk a little bit about Atlas today and give you a demo. But first, just wanted to set some context. So Shatterproof is a national nonprofit organization, and we're really focused on ending the addiction crisis, which I realize is a very high bar, but we're working at it. Hello, Robert, lovely to see your face. So that is kind of the background for Shatterproof. And I'll note that before we even conceived of Atlas, we had released the Shatterproof National Principles of Care. So these are 8 principles of evidence-based addiction treatment. They were derived from the 2016 Surgeon General's report on addiction. So they're backed by decades of research. And it wasn't that Shatterproof took these and just kind of republished them and we're like, we did it. Instead, we brought together a group of subject matter experts, clinicians, payers, provider associations, advocates, who looked at the recommendations from the Surgeon General's report and really winnowed those down into 8 principles. So once we had released those 8 principles, we knew that we needed to do more, that sort of releasing the set of principles wasn't enough. And we also knew, as you all undoubtedly know, that searching for and locating addiction treatment is really difficult. That even if you work in the addiction field, it can be really hard to know who the good providers are, what services are offered, and even really what you should be looking for. And so with that in mind, we launched Atlas, and I'm going to pull up a window here. Let's see if I can figure this out. Oh, good. Okay. Sorry that I am clicking away at the keyboard. There we go. So when I say Atlas, this is what I mean. It is a completely free, public-facing, not-for-profit website. For those of you who have stopped by the booth, you've probably heard me say that we are not affiliated with any treatment organizations. And so we're a completely independent third party. This website is available to anyone. Anyone can go on at any time to take an assessment and search for treatment. And I'll note, just as a caveat, that Atlas is currently available in just 6 states right now, so North Carolina and 5 others. In the coming year, we'll also be expanding to Florida, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, and California. And we have 2 additional states on the horizon who we haven't announced yet. So really the hope is to go national. But with that, I'll note that on the website, first I'll start by noting that at the top, you'll see that the website is available in both English and Spanish. And that's the entire website. And so you can click that Spanish button if you or a client or a care manager need Spanish language. And also at the top, you'll note just some brief information, learning about what to look for in treatment and about Atlas itself. And as I scroll down, you'll see that Take Assessment button, and I'll dive into that in just a moment. But I'll also note that if you know exactly what you're looking for, if you're like, I know that I need IOP in Wilmington and I have, say, Aetna insurance, you can search for that. Or if you're searching for a specific facility, if you're like, there's an Eleanor Health down the road, you can type in the name and the facility names will auto-populate, so you can select that specific facility. And just at the bottom of the homepage, more information about those signs of high quality care, as well as a quick video on how Atlas works and some testimonials from our stakeholders. But with that, I will dive into that take assessment. So as you all probably also know, a lot of times when people aren't really familiar with the addiction field, they may think that treatment is either 30-day residential or 12-step. And while those are appropriate for some people, they're obviously not appropriate for all individuals with addiction. And it can be really hard as a non-clinician, I'm sure you've experienced this, to understand what the appropriate level of care for someone is. And so with Atlas, we really took the guesswork out of that. We worked with both ASAM and Open Beds to develop a user-friendly assessment. This is completely anonymous. It's based on the ASAM continuum. It's just 13 questions, and it really helps to identify the appropriate level of care for someone. And I'll note that Atlas is not a crisis line, so we ask that if anybody's having a mental or a physical health crisis, that they contact the appropriate helpline. But with that, I'll walk us through the assessment quickly, just so you get a feel for it. And you can take this with anyone. You can take it for yourself or someone else. I'm taking it with a friend in mind who is currently struggling with alcohol use. And you'll note that you can add many more substances. We know that addiction isn't necessarily just one substance at a time. She can stop using, but she might use again within the next week or so. In terms of withdrawal symptoms, she has some moderate kind of withdrawal symptoms, some mild anxiety. I am very grateful that she does not have any medical problems at this time, but she does have moderate mental health needs. And I'm very grateful that she's not having any suicidal thoughts at the moment. I'll note that if you do select that somebody has suicidal urges, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline pops up. And she is willing to try treatment or anything else that would help. She really wants to reduce or stop her use. And she's not mandated to treatment. And she does have a place to stay, a place to transportation, a routine, and no mobility issues. And so when I click the submit button, you'll see here a recommendation for the type of treatment she should look at. In other words, the level of care, but in a more sort of user-friendly way. And there's a tooltip that you can select here in case you or the client don't know what an outpatient treatment is. You'll also notice that there are some additional services recommended. So withdrawal management, given her withdrawal symptoms, and mental health treatment, given her mental health needs. And you'll note at the bottom that there is a disclaimer. This assessment does not take the place of a clinical assessment that somebody should receive upon intake. Rather, it's just intended to guide their search. And at this point, I can save the results, download them, text them to my friend, or I can click Find Treatment Now. And as I mentioned, she's in Wilmington, and she does have a car, so she's able to go about 25 miles, a pretty broad range. And you'll now see the search results page, pretty similar to some search results pages that you're probably used to. You'll notice that at the top, there are some filters that have automatically been selected based on our assessment results. You see outpatient treatment was automatically selected, as well as facilities offering mental health care on site. And we automatically filtered for facilities who provided quality data. It's not mandatory for facilities to provide data to Atlas. So those who choose not to are still listed, but they're automatically filtered out of the search. And you can see that at the left, there are many more filter options. So you can filter by payment type, by specific insurance accepted. For instance, if I'm just looking for facilities that accept my friend's Cigna insurance, I can filter that way. And you'll note that there are several. You can even filter by the type of medication that they offer or age and gender specific programming. And I'll note that what I really think of as the meat and potatoes of Atlas. So we have a facility profile, some basic information, what substances do they treat, what are their hours. And then what makes Atlas a bit different from other locators is these signs of high quality care. And so these indicate whether or not the facility services align with what we know to be high quality care, those shatterproof national principles. And so as we scroll down, we see that Port Health is meeting several of the principles. You can click that See More button. So for instance, they offer all 4 formulations of alcohol use disorder medication. And then at the bottom, we have a patient reviews section. And if you click that Leave a Review button, you'll note that it's not asking, how was the food? What did you think of the beds? But instead, how much have you been helped by the treatment you received here? There's an open text question, but also have staff in this treatment facility asked you about including family or friends in treatment. So really the process and not just the kind of for the layout of the facility, if that makes sense. And I'll just note finally that you can compare facilities side by side, up to 3 on desktop and up to 2 on mobile. So the site is mobile optimized. And I'll note that really our aim with Atlas is not to tell someone this is the best facility in the state, but rather to say, we want to help you find the treatment that is most appropriate for you. And so the compare feature is really about that. So for instance, you can look at the different medications offered. We see that each facility offers all medications, though for instance, Port doesn't provide naloxone on site. You can also compare their recovery support services. So you may say that if you're looking for a facility with peer recovery support, that potentially Coastal Horizons is what you'd like. And I'll note that on the patient reviews, a facility needs to have a minimum of 20 before they display. And that's just because that is the number required so that these kind of averages accurately reflect facility quality. But I know that I have just 3 minutes left, so I wanted to pause there, see if there are any questions. If you are on the line, you are more than welcome to unmute yourself. Or as Terry mentioned, she's in the Whova chat if you have any questions there. I'll stop sharing my screen. I know that nobody else is on camera, but I like seeing all the names. So. Hi, Robert and Banique. I see you both unmuted.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, did you have a question?
Yeah, just so this is just it's a website we can give to people for them to do their own search.
They can do their own search, or if you'd like, you or a case manager can do it with them. So you can have them go there directly, but also if you have, for instance, case managers or peer support navigators, they can use the website as well, face-to-face with the client, on the phone, whatever works best.
And what's the site?
Oh, I'll put it in the Zoom chat. Great question. It is treatmentatlas.org. And Terry's going to put it in the Whova chat as well. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly at cdavidson@shatterproof.org.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And Yvette, did you have a question as well? I know that you unmuted.
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
was just listening.
Just having some fun. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Thank you all for your time today. I'm going to hop off so that Shelda can take the next spot. But again, I encourage you to visit the website and let me know if you have any questions.
Even though I've done a lot of Zoom presentations, I'm a little discombobulated right now. Anyway, hey everyone, thank you for joining this little visual presentation. I wish you could all be here in person, and hopefully someday we'll all be together soon so that I can meet you face to face. I work for a company called Smart Start, And we are providers of alcohol monitoring devices. And Smart Start is located in 48 states in over 22 countries. So we're a very large ignition interlock company across the world, one of the largest, in fact. We started in 1993 in Grapevine, Texas, and have only been in North Carolina for about 9 years. So there are 3 providers of ignition interlock or alcohol monitoring devices in the state, but for right now, we are the lowest price ignition interlock provider. And if anybody needs to know what an ignition interlock looks like, this is what the head unit looks like. And a client would actually have this installed in their car if they were required by the court or the DMV, who is the monitoring authority, to have one of these in their car due to a DWI under certain circumstances. So this is what our head unit looks like. There's a curly cord that's attached to it after the base unit is installed up underneath someone's dash. So a client would have to blow into the device, and there's a certain blow pattern that they would have to produce to prevent anti-circumventions, like maybe small children blowing or people on the side of the road or whatever somebody might come up with. So they would blow into the device in order to start their car. And as they are driving, it will ask for retest for as long as that car is moving. It's not cellular, so the data is not continually uploading to the DMV. So a client would be required to come back into one of our service locations, which we have 27 of them across the state to service our clients. And every month or bi-monthly, they would be what we call recalibration appointment. So we would reset their unit and download all of that information that's been stored on there, all the testing activity, their BAC, the date and time stamp, every time the car starts or stops, or what else? We have to put in the mileage. So then that report is then sent over to the DMV. And they review the reports. If there's any violations, such as skip tests or alcohol is detected in a breath sample, they might opt to call that client in for hearing. So basically, that's how that ignition interlock works. Like I said, we are the lowest priced ignition interlock provider in the state right now. So we have coupons. So what a client would get right now is free installation, free first month, free removal, and $60 a month after that, which includes all taxes and fees. We don't have any long-term contracts, and we don't have any hidden fees. We also you can get these from me if you want it, just by emailing me at shelda.northcutt@smartstartinc.com. And I will send these to you along with maybe some rack cards that you can put out for your clients. The rack card is English on one side and Spanish on the other side, which is a really great tool. We also have other alcohol monitoring devices, and the one I want to talk about with you and how it might pertain to you as substance abuse counseling or center is our Smart Mobile. This is a portable device. It's just a little bit about the size, just a little bigger than our head unit. You can see it in my hand. It's not too awful big, but it's portable. So it's not attached to your body like the continuous alcohol monitoring device that is provided by Scram. That's an ankle bracelet that's attached to someone's body. It tests for alcohol transdermally every 30 minutes, but it's very expensive. So it's anywhere from $10 to $15 per day for that device. And you cannot take a bath or get it wet or swim. So this would be an alternative to some of those people who've had multiple DWIs and maybe have lost their license for several years or for a long time and aren't eligible to get their license back for many years. If that client were to prove their sobriety by using one of these devices for a year, the reporting goes to the DMV. It is admissible in court. I could provide you with a fry paper that proves the admissibility of this reporting from this device in court. Virtually what it is the fuel cell sensor that's in this device has been prepackaged into our smart mobile. And that's what makes it, since this is certified in the state, the ignition ear lock, the reporting in here should be equal to this. So it is admissible in court. So the DMV would look at that year-long report of sobriety and quite possibly give them their license back in 1 year rather than waiting 3 or 4 years. So a great way to help some of your clients get back on the road, maybe get a job again and provide for their families and become a useful part of our society. But this device, real quick, it will wake up with a test window because you create test windows in there. The client would blow into the device. It's a straight blow, not a blow hum that is required by the ignition ear lock. Straight blow. There's a camera for positive identification of the person blowing. And all that information then is uploaded cellularly into our reporting system. And we can release that information to the client or their attorney so that when meeting the DMV hearing officer, they'll have that information to back up, their requirement to maybe get their license back. I also do have rack cards on the Smart Mobile as well, which talks about all the features and the benefits. And basically it's about $4 per day, which is a whole lot less expensive than the ankle bracelet. So it might be a better choice for some of those people out there. So if you need more information on that, also it can be found on our website at smartstartinc.com. Is there any questions that I can help you guys with? I cannot see anybody right now, so I don't know if anybody's trying to ask a question. Maybe it's Amy? Oh, there's Robert. Hi, Robert.
No questions. I've gotten lots of information from you in the past at other conferences, so.
Oh, okay. So what is your treatment facility?
Well, this is a product I probably wouldn't be using because I work for one of the MCOs, so we don't actually have to we don't have any clients that have to install those things. I did used to work in the DWI world, and this was something that I used to be quite interested in. But one thing I did wonder though is you mentioned the continuous alcohol monitoring, the ankle monitor. Do you have anybody that currently that uses that, or do you guys offer that?
The Scram device is not our product. So yeah, the ankle bracelet is not our product. It's provided by Scram, SCRAM. So that's a whole different company. Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, and they're I
used to work with a person that would get those, and had clients that were using that, and it was very difficult for her to manage those because it seems like there was always something going wrong with them. She'd have to replace them. They wouldn't pay for them. The people that were using them weren't paying. She was losing a lot of money.
Right.
Using.
So she had a distributorship. She had a distributorship of them. Yeah.
And she was losing money doing that because of the expense of them and the people not paying her for the daily monitoring. I think she had to read them every week or something like that. She had to do a reading on it every week.
Right. Right. So, well, I'm sorry that happened to her. I do have some friends. I'm not sure if you guys know Urton and Associates over in Rocky Mount. Michael Urton, he's been in this business for like 40 years. Anyway, he and his new partner, actually he sold the business to another person, and Michelle, and she and him started a distributorship of the Scram ankle bracelets. So I don't think that they've had a whole lot of trouble. I mean, they've not mentioned anything to me, but what I was trying to tell them, and I thought would be really great for anybody like your friend maybe, who would be interested in something else. In about a year, we're coming out with a continuous alcohol monitoring device, and I wish I had a picture. But it's going to look like an Apple Watch, and you wear it around your wrist, and it's very small, and it actually does function like a watch, but it is an alcohol monitoring device. So it's very it's not as noticeable as an alcohol monitoring device attached to your body. So you don't have that embarrassment factor there. And I'm sure ours is going to be a whole lot cheaper than $10 to $15 a day.
But is it locked on so they can't remove it or tamper with it or anything?
Correct, because if it has to be considered a continuous alcohol monitoring device, it has to be attached. So, but the way I understand it, it's probably going to be waterproof. So don't have to worry about, in the shower and the swimming pool and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
which
that
would
was
be really
one of the
nice.
big, that was one of the big problems she was having with the Scram, was people not taking care of it when they had to take showers or baths or whatever. And
Right.
yeah,
It's kind of hard to keep clean, and you can't play in the summertime because you can't get in the pool. So, but our device is going to be called the Orbis, Orbis. So if anybody wanted to do some research on that, you might be able to see, or if you're interested, email me at shelda.northcutt@smartstarting.com, and I will email you the what do you call it? The press release on the Orbis device. It's really cool.
that'll probably be a very popular product then, because she was having to do it she was getting referrals from probation, where their probation officers were requiring their people to wear these things because they've been having such issues with them and
Correct.
not staying sober. So
Right. Well, hopefully ours will be much more functionable and will work correctly. So we are doing a lot of testing on it right now, and beta testing it out in the field, and it's coming back as a really cool product. So it'll be a competition for that. So there isn't any other competition out there right now in the whole United States for a continuous alcohol monitoring device. So this would be the second one. So wherever there's a law that's stating a client must by law wear a continuous alcohol monitoring device, they're stuck. All they have right now is Scram. And it's expensive and doesn't always work right, and it's big and it's cumbersome and it's embarrassing. And so hopefully our product would overcome some of those,
looks like you're on house arrest.
right, right. Because it also does GPS as well. Yeah, which I'm sure ours will too, because this has GPS coordinates as well. So we actually have that technology. It's not, so this is, what is that new technology? What is that, G5 or G? Is it G5?
The 5G?
5G, whatever. Yeah, that's what this functions on. So yeah, we already have those connections with the internet companies or the telephone providers, So it's going to be a pretty cool product. Any other questions? I know we're probably about out of time, but I've got a couple more minutes. I was going to show our website, but if you guys go to smartstarting.com, you can pretty much, work around in there pretty easily. And we have, if somebody's using the ignition interlock, we have online for those clients to watch our training video as many times as they need to. I've also put on there our North Carolina laws, frequently asked questions, all kinds of stuff to help the client. There's also a user manual. So once they leave our shop, they still have some resources at their fingertips. And they don't have to call a technician all the time. They can go online and maybe get some of their questions answered that way. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your conference and appreciate you listening to this presentation. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. We are glad that you joined us. Again, we're recording it, so we're going to put it back up on Whova for those who may be interested in learning more about two of our excellent exhibitors that are here at our conference. We hope that you are enjoying the conference, and we know that there are a lot of sessions. We're working very diligently to get the recordings back up for you, but just very excited to have you virtually with us, and thank you for all your engagement. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your time, and we'll see you back on a session shortly.